What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media. I bring you Ravens content every single day. If you want to see daily Ravens content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But this is a draft profile. I'm trying to come out with at least 3 videos every single day, 2 of them at least being draft profiles on different players. And this is not just for Ravens fans. This is just a draft profile on the player as a whole. If you are a Ravens fan, I will give my opinion on whether or not I think the Ravens should draft these players or if they're a good fit in Baltimore. But if you're not a Ravens fan, welcome. If your team actually drafted the players that I'm talking about, congratulations. This is just going to be my thoughts on the player, where I think good fits for them would be. But if you are not a fan of the Ravens, let me know if you think drafting it would be a good idea. If you are a fan of the Ravens, let me know if you think it would be smart. But I'm just going to give my thoughts on it. And as always, comment any players you want me to do, draft profiles about, because, a lot of these videos do come from suggestions as well. And someone did suggest that I should do Josh Paschal. So that's what I'm going to start out with. Is I'm going to be talking about Josh Paschal, defensive lineman, edge rusher, hybrid out of the University of Kentucky. Now, the biggest thing when you look at Josh Paschal, what is he going to bring you? Is he's going to bring you effort. He's going to bring you mentality. He's going to bring you glue, and he's going to play football. That's what this guy is about. Does he have the ceiling of an Aaron Donald? No, he does not. However, he can absolutely be a fundamental piece of a defense that needs someone that will work his tail off day in and day out, play in and play out, and make sure that he can see the field. Because that's what he's going to bring you, right? He doesn't have the prototypical frame of, a defensive lineman that you would want. He's only about 6'3", as an edge rusher. That's a little bit small. He does have really good weight, 268 pounds, but what he brings is versatility. He can play at the 3 tech. He can play outside the tackle. He did a lot of that, both positions at the University of Kentucky, which is an SEC school. And he does have a little bit of athleticism, but nothing that's going to blow you off the charts. He's maybe an average. You could argue he's slightly below average in terms of athleticism, but when I'm looking at him, as a Ravens fan, I'll give a Ravens player analogy would be like a Derek Wolfe type, in the fact that he's going to play inside, he's going to play outside, he's not going to blow you away with athleticism, but like I said, he's going to win off of effort. He was a 3-year starter at Kentucky. He was one of the foundational pieces of that defense, and overall, I think he could be a really solid player in the NFL because he has very good instincts. He has very good. I hate to bring up the work effort, but at his position, when you're playing on the defensive line, so often it's not about technique, because obviously if you're going to shed your blocker, that's technique, right? But it's when the quarterback starts escaping the pocket and he gets a little bit past the line of scrimmage. A lot of defensive linemen, they give up. They're not going to chase him down. Josh Paschal is someone that's going to chase him down, right? If he gets put on his back, he will get back up and he will chase down that player. Now, hopefully he doesn't get put on his back by any means. That's not the type of player I'm saying he is, but I'm saying he's always going to be someone that gets back up. The negatives with him, it's really that he just doesn't have the athleticism. But that's why he's a projected 3rd-round pick. Is he doesn't have the athleticism, but at the same time, he works hard and he is able to be productive on a defensive line in the best conference in all of college football, going up against Alabama offensive linemen, Georgia offensive linemen. Those are the types of players he has to play against. Well, he was able to play, in that conference and get that NFL ready experience. So, overall, when I'm looking at him and I'm looking at teams that I think should go after him, I think it's teams that need depth on the defensive line, right? If you're going to draft him, don't draft him hoping he becomes the best D-Lineman in the NFL. That's not what I'm expecting. I'm not saying he can't become a great player, but you're going to draft him because you need that moldable piece into your defense, right? Let's say you're in LA Rams and you already have, Leonard Floyd and Aaron Donald, as your defensive, I know Leonard Floyd's technically an outside linebacker, but he plays edge, all right? He's on the line a lot of the time. Well, you're kind of set there. You don't need a star. You need someone that can just fill that gap in between those players and is going to bust his tail off. That's the type of player that you would get out of Josh Paschal. If you're a team, Like I'll say, what's a team without a pass rush? For example, the Detroit Lions. They're a team that's struggling to get a pass rush. No disrespect to their current edge rushers, but a lot of people think they may be drafting an edge rusher with their first pick in the draft because they need that superstar. Josh Paschal doesn't make a lot of sense for them because he'll get lost in the crowd. He is going to shine when he's not the player that's supposed to shine. That's when you're going to see him the most. All right? When you're not thinking about him, that's when he's going to make those effort plays, right? When you have an elite player on your defensive line or in that backfield, in that front seven that teams are focusing in on, that's when the effort guys, you see it so often in the NBA, guys like Draymond Green and Patrick Beverly and stuff like that. You're not focusing on them. You're focusing on the other players, right? The Karl Anthony Towns or the Steph Curry. I apologize for the basketball analogy. It's NBA playoff season. But you're focusing on those guys, but then all of a sudden you see them making those effort players. Josh Paschal won't be the focus of any offense. Most likely for the majority of his career. I'm not expecting him to be a focus. However, I'm not saying he can't make plays. I think he would be a great pick for a lot of teams that are looking for edge and interior defensive line depth at the 3 tech because I feel like he can make plays and he's going to work his tail off. So many times we see the defensive tackles, they just don't have the energy or the stamina or the effort to go out and try and make those extra plays. As a Ravens fan, it was amazing when we saw Jelly Ellis last year chasing down Travis Kelce because it was shocking that a defensive lineman is putting in that much effort. Paschal's going to give you that much effort. So, I said at the beginning of the video, I'll talk about my opinions on the Ravens potentially going after this player. Let me know if you're not a Ravens fan, your team about potentially drafting him. I think it would be a decent selection. However, at the same time, he's not the guy that I would be targeting because I feel like the Ravens do need, like I talked about, that guy that can become a Pro Bowl, a focus of that defense. I feel like that's what the Ravens are needing. They have a lot of depth pieces, right? They have Michael Pierce, they have Calais Campbell, they have Justin Madubuike. I feel like Josh Paschal would get a little bit lost there, and I don't think that he would be the starting caliber edge that the Ravens would want, at least especially for the future with that team. I'm not saying I would be upset at the selection, but I feel like there's better players to go in that, third round type of thing where, like, for example, I'm not trying to make this about a comparison, but for the Ravens, a player like Drake Jackson, where right now it's like, okay, he needs to bulk out a little bit. Right now he may not be like super pro ready. In a couple years, Drake Jackson could be a Pro Bowler, right? Josh Paschal isn't going to be that fluctuation. He's a very stable player that you could draft, but I feel like the Ravens don't need stable. They need someone that can become a star. And so, like, Josh Paschal is not my number one guy in the 3rd round for the Ravens to get at the edge defensive line spot, but I wouldn't be upset at it. Fills a position in need. I think it would be all right, but overall, I think he's solid. I think he's a really good prospect for what he's going to be able to do, which is play the inside, play the outside, be an interchangeable piece that's going to work hard and give you those extra effort plays, and he's going to be a very safe selection. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe for Daily Ravens content. Comment any players you want me to do more videos on. I will have another video out tonight in a couple of hours. I know I live on the West Coast, so it's only about 5 o'clock for me when I'm recording this. So hopefully by around 7 or 8 o'clock, I'll have another one out. If you're on the East Coast, that's about 10 or 11 p.m. You can watch it tomorrow if you don't have time tonight. But thank you, everybody, and I'll see all of you again next time.